Welcome once again to the Jet and Mike podcast. This is episode number 7, I believe. Jed, we're kind of getting up there, man.
Yeah, man. In 2 weeks, of work, man. We've been doing our thing.
Yeah, man. Like I said, a lot of feedback, a lot of views, a lot of likes, a lot of subscriptions so far.
Yeah.
So we want to first and foremost send out our utmost thank yous to everybody who takes the time to listen to these podcasts. We have tried to condense them to make them as suitable as possible for our listeners.
Mm-hmm. I agree, man. It means more than you guys know. Positive or negative, all the subscribers, we thank you. Especially the negative. I mean, if we're touching nerves, then, we got to be doing something right. So,
well, we're going to touch some more nerves today. And as usual, you know what we first start off with whenever we do these podcasts. One of our first loves, done things that connected us as friends.
Yeah,
NBA basketball. So there has been a lot of talk going around in the league right now. Comparisons, more so, I would say. LeBron James, Steph Curry. Who wears the crown? Who's the best in the league? Who is, by far, above all, the greatest right now? And you know what I'm going to say, but I'm curious as what you're going to say first. So, Steph, LeBron, pick.
First of all, I want to start off by saying I think everybody who are making these comparisons, you are making yourselves look extremely silly. And these are two different players that play two different games and are in two different lanes.
I agree.
And with that being said,
one can shoot, one can't.
And the biggest part about it is when they try to compare and contrast stats. Please, please let me know, anybody listening, how you can compare somebody who's been in the league for 10 plus years? About 10 years now?
Yeah, more than that, I think.
It's been about, a good 4. He was 2003 he was drafted, right? So it's been 13 years.
Yeah.
As opposed to a guy that was drafted, like
08, I think. Yeah, I believe 08, 09.
Has barely been in the league 10 years.
And wasn't considered a superstar his first 2 years either.
No. So with that being said, you can't compare LeBron James' accolades to Stephen Curry's. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's just not even. It's chronologically not. It's chronologically stupid. Like it makes no sense chronologically, I guess is what I was trying to say. And with all that being said, it's just hard for me because I respect LeBron James' game as well as I respect Steph's game. Physically, this is the best, and I would honestly say the best physical specimen in LeBron James that the league has seen.
Ever. I would agree with that.
Ever. All around, he's a well-rounded player, and I give him that. So, if we're going with if we're it's hard. It just depends on what situation I got to pick. If we're talking about right now in the league, it's Steph's world. That's just how I feel. It's Steph's world right now because that man, even driving to the basket, a lot of people, all he does is shoot, and if you take that away, he puts the ball on the floor as well. Yeah, It's harder for him to get himself going when he can't shoot the ball on nights where he's having a bad shooting night. It's very hard. It's very difficult for him to get himself going.
That's any shooter, though.
Exactly. But then you compare that to a guy who is predominantly a passer these days. If you ask me, he's a better passer than he is anything else. And I can't say he's a better scorer because, a lot of people say, well, he doesn't score because he doesn't need to. But then at the same time, it's like, at what point, at what point are you comparing the two then? Because Steph is a cold-blooded scorer. And, he dishes the rock. Don't get me wrong. It's not like he's a, I guess, quote-unquote, a Kobe-esque player who doesn't give up the ball and gets his. But at the same time, LeBron just it's just two different games. So it's like if you have to based off both of their games, now I would just have to take Steph Curry. I would have to him at this moment in time. Now I'm not saying that LeBron's not the best player of our generation as a whole. I completely agree with that. Nobody has to try to pull out facts to argue that with me. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But is there room for Steph to catch up, barring any injuries, he's definitely got space for improvement and time to catch up and take over that role as that player. But nobody's ever gonna give him that credit because LeBron is here and LeBron's been here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think that just looking back at LeBron's career and all that he has accomplished, and if you guys don't some of you out there wondering what stat thing Jet's talking about, there was this meme that was posted up, and I know a lot of you saw. The Cleveland Cavaliers have a large following based off of LeBron James being there.
Yeah.
And the meme basically was comparing Steph Curry's stats at age 28 to LeBron's stats at age 28. And it wasn't fair because Steph has only been in the league since 2009, whereas LeBron had been in the league since age 18 and was, had a way longer time to be able to do the stuff that he's done in the league. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he had won a championship by age 28 either.
No, I think that's around when he got his first one was 28, 29, wasn't it?
I think it was 30 because how old is LeBron now? LeBron, what? He's about 30, 32, 33?
Something like that.
He's a little bit up there in age now. Yeah, he's 31 now. Well, 31. No. Yeah, he did get his first championship when he was age 28 then. Mm-hmm. Correct me, I'm sorry about that. But even still, I mean, it took him to 28 when he first got his, and he had already been in the league for a good long time after that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I don't know. I think to me, if the comparisons need to stop, I agree with you because they are two totally different players. Mm-hmm. LeBron James is primarily a slasher.
Yeah.
And like I said, a dunker, and he can shoot the ball. I don't want anybody to comment when I post this on Facebook. You saying he can't shoot the ball? Look at his shooting stats. I'm saying that if LeBron James has a choice of driving to the basket or shooting the rock, I guarantee you he would tell you every time he'd rather lay the ball up than have to worry about shooting it and missing it.
Yeah, he's a very efficient player, and that's why I don't take anything away from what he does. But then at the same time, you got to think that Steph is, with being primarily a shooter, how efficient he is.
Exactly.
The majority of the shots that he's taking are from beyond the arc.
So what you're saying basically is you're gonna go Steph.
I'm going
right
Steph. I gotta go Steph because, and then you know what? One other thing that sets him apart and that set him apart from the Kobe's and the MJ's when people always were having those debates. Mm-hmm. What LeBron does not possess that I feel these other players do, Steph included, is that clutch gene. At the end of the game, when it's time to take over the game, and not even I'll give LeBron that in the fourth quarter he can take over the game. But then when it comes down to that last shot, come on now. If we want to get very meticulous as far as being clutch, anytime it comes down to that last shot, I'm sorry, I'm not giving LeBron the ball.
I feel like he would rather pass the ball himself over to maybe to Kyrie or somebody.
Well, and that's the issue. And that's the issue, is because he's not. Which I mean is not a bad. That's not a bad problem to have. Is being a pass first guy. It's not a bad problem to have, but at the same token,
you want to be the best in the league, the best in the world,
and the best want the ball in their hands with 1 second left on the clock. And I just, the fact that he opts out of it.
Google LeBron James clutch game winners. I mean, he had that one against Chicago last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, that one hurt.
That hurt. I mean, obviously, but I mean, past that, I mean, I don't remember seeing a lot of LeBron James clutch shots. I remember seeing a lot of Dwayne Wade clutch shots. I remember seeing a lot of Ray Allen clutch shots.
And that's another one I'd go to over LeBron in the fourth quarter. I'm giving the ball to Dwayne Wade. And I keep saying in the fourth. Correct me. I mean, like when there's literally no time left on the clock and somebody's got to make that shot from 30. You know what I mean?
That's all you got. A prayer, lift the ball up.
And I mean, and his shot has come a long way, but I'm still not. I'm going with Steph, man. To make a long story short, I'm going with Steph.
You're gonna go with Steph. I guess I'm gonna go with Steph as well. But one of the things that LeBron has been widely criticized about is not having a mental toughness and his relationship with his friend Dwayne Wade, since we bring him up. Let's segue over to that. What are your feelings, your sentiments on LeBron James' relationship with Dwayne Wade, their friendship? And before you give that, let me give you guys, the listeners, a little backstory. Actually Dwayne Wade's wife, Gabrielle Union, recently was interviewed, and she said, and I quote, "I think that if we were to play like the dating game or the matching game, I feel like LeBron would know more about Dwayne than I do."
Wow. And
she was like, I feel like LeBron would get more right about Dwayne Wade than I would, you know. And a lot of the old school players have criticized LeBron, not necessarily Dwayne, because Dwayne still has that killer instinct.
Right.
But they criticize LeBron when he goes up against Dwayne Wade because they say that he lets friendship get in the way. As a matter of fact, his own coach, Tyronn Lue, had to get on his case.
Wow.
As soon as David Black got fired, 2 games later they played the Heat, and they got blown out by the Heat. And LeBron James at halftime, while they were getting blown out, was laughing with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade at shoot-around after they come out of the tunnel.
Yeah. I think their friendship as a whole, I don't have a problem with it, and I think in certain situations it's good for the league in a sense. But then at the same time, where I do agree that it might be, I don't want to say hurting the league, but where I guess in agreement with some of the older players that criticized him and got on this case, it takes away from the. I think that takes away from the competitiveness of it, in a sense, and especially, and even if you don't look at it like that, if you're not a person that looks at it, that it's taking away from the competitiveness of the game or current game at hand. You also got to think about. I mean, if we're getting blown out, the last thing that I'm going to be doing is over here chuckling with the people who are kicking my ass right now.
Yeah.
And that makes you look weak-minded. It makes you look, I mean, to me, if I was playing and I had a buddy on the other team and I was in that situation and we're scraping y'all, and then at half you come out and you're sitting over there chuckling it up, I'm going to chuckle it up. But I'm smelling blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's go time. Now it's time to step on your neck, and I think that's the vibe that a lot of people get and why they criticize him. And so it's difficult because I mean, like where I stand is like I think it could be a good thing for the league, but then also it just kind of takes away from the competitive spirit of it all.
I'm gonna go on the record right now by saying it is awful for the league altogether. Nothing good comes from LeBron James and Dwayne Wade's relationship, LeBron James' relationship with Carmelo Anthony, and his relationship with Chris Paul. Nothing good comes from any of it from the league except for them all wanting to bunch together and play together, which in turn weakens the rest of the league because you got 3 or 4 superstars on a team playing together. Of course they're going to win championships that way. Right. How fair is that?
Right.
You know, and I mean, and here's where my issue comes in. You want to be the best player in the league, but you yet consistently need to surround yourself with other players who are going for the same thing you are, which is the title of best player in the league.
Yeah.
You know? And then on top of that, you are getting blown out. I remember this game distinctly. I watched it on ESPN. Blown out by the Heat. Marquee game. Wednesday night, ESPN. 7 o'clock, prime time. You're getting blown out in your gym.
Your gym.
In the queue. You're getting blown out. And you're laughing with Chris Bosh and with Dwayne Wade. I can't have that. I can't have that. You need to have the mental toughness to be able to separate basketball and to separate friendship. When you step on that court, you have a job to do.
It's got to be all business.
And your job is not to go out and laugh and chuckle with Dwayne Wade and with Chris Paul and with Carmelo Anthony. Take them to dinner after the game. Y'all could do what y'all want to do. But before that game, you better not be seen with them. You better not be going to their house. You better not be holding their kids or none of that stuff. I don't want any of that. Uncle LeBron is for after the game, after we beat them by 20. Yeah. You need to get your act together. You need to make sure that you are ready and prepared to do battle in that game. And the worst part is his teammates sitting there looking at him.
Crazy.
Kyrie, Kevin, sitting there looking at him like, what this fool doing? Did he want to go back to Miami? Is that what he want to do?
And then you gotta also keep in mind that do you remember that after, I don't know if it was after that same game, could have been. I didn't all I saw was a clip of something on I think it was Facebook or some social media somewhere of those two at center court after the game, and LeBron saying to him, yeah, if we don't get our act together this year, if we don't win this year, we'll be back together again. Or something like that.
Oh, geez, don't tell me nothing like that, man. So, I can't.
And I don't know if it was. I don't know if there's any validity to that. I don't know if that was a voiceover of any kind.
I can't deal because he's a free agent after this year. After this year is up, he only signed a 2-year deal with Cleveland. He's a free agent this summer. That's why Magic Johnson was saying that the Lakers should go after him and stuff like that. But this is ridiculous. You know. I hope long term LeBron James is centered towards staying and playing in Cleveland for the rest of his career. Because leaving Cleveland again would kill his character. It would kill his image. It would do terrible things to him. And you know,
well, I honestly don't understand how his image wasn't already tarnished with going out there and telling Miami that they're going to straight up lying to the whole city and to the organization, saying we're not going to win just one. We're not going to win just two. We're not going to win just – and it's not my problem. My problem is not with the fact that he was saying that, because it's like as a fan of basketball and as a fan of an organization, you want your player to come out and guarantee you some stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Where my problem lies is you're making them seem like you're going to be there
for years
through thick and thin, and when it's not working, we're going to try to make it work. And then on top of that, then you turn around and just leave. And then you continue to be buddy. Well, in which, like, all right, so let me say this. So then you turn around, you leave, and then on top of that, you play against this man that is your friend, and which, like I said, I have no problem with them being friends. But like we both state, when you step on the court, it's business.
Mm-hmm.
Now you straight up lied to this city. You straight up made them believe something that wasn't true. And then you turn around and you're buddy with a person on the team who is tearing you off at the moment.
Right.
I don't understand how, again, I don't understand how his character has not already been tarnished. I really don't.
I don't know.
And I don't know how people can sit there and look at that and argue against that. I mean, he's not mentally tough, I don't think. He is a great basketball player, and I will never take anything away from that. Great player, best physical specimen that we've seen ever. The best player of our time overall. I think he's the most well-rounded player in the league. But MVP Bron? Not this year. He has not been the best in the league for the past 2 years now. And honestly, I think this whole relationship with Dwayne Wade on the court is making it even worse.
Last statements for this segment here. What are your last statements, your feelings on LeBron?
He needs to stop flopping as well. Because that's getting ridiculous. But other than that, no, I mean, again, I say great player. Wouldn't take anything away, but Steph, it's Steph's world.
All right. Well, if you have any comments, any questions, any concerns, please feel free to put them at the bottom of either our Facebook that we post this on, or of course when you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jet Mike. Please put your comments, repost, reshare, reblog, whatever you like to do, whatever form you like to do. Put it on Twitter, retweet us out, let everybody know to listen to the Jet and Mike podcast. If you disagree with us, if you disagree with what me and Jet have to say about LeBron James, by all means, we love a good argument.
Oh yeah. Don't back down.
So definitely come with it though. We will throw facts your way to prove our point. But we're excited that you guys listening. Thanks for listening. Tune in to our many more podcasts that we have coming.